Phew, we made it.
It's the pre-funk.
It's the pre-funk.
Can it really be pre-anything if we're 3 minutes late?
Well, in some dimensions, we are 3 minutes early.
All right, I'm willing to accept that.
Got me there.
Got me again, Flash.
So take it.
Was this
Steve
on
got
Dimensional
the-
Standard Time?
It is. It is indeed.
Yeah, it's the what-if dimension where everything just runs 6 minutes slower.
That's right. That's exactly right. And of course, as I was...
What if everything was late? Oh wait, I lived that life.
We're in that dimension right now.
We are.
This is the bad place.
This is the bad place. I get it. A good Eminem Monday unto you, Sean A. Vieira. AJ Real says, howdy, folks.
Hiya, Pook.
Pook says, howdy. Good evening, Superfam. I'm still floating on a bit of a good vibe from Saturday's actual play. That sure was fun.
Time, right?
It was a good vibe. I got to kick my grandpa in the face.
No, yeah, you did, Alex. If I do recall,
Quality family entertainment right there.
really, yeah, quality family time. And I do believe you tried to waylay a ninja with a snack.
I successfully waylaid a ninja with a snack.
With a snack.
See, that's nice. I like it.
Why you should always have ninja snacks in your utility belt.
That's right. One of my more a moment from the program that I really enjoyed, and everyone, you could head on over to YouTube and watch it because we streamed it live, and it was for our Patreon pals. An entire cast made up of Patreon folks plus Alex. So it was really a celebrity event.
Star-studded.
Star-studded, indeed. Claude's here. Great. That means I'm going to have some uncontrollable... We can get started now. We've been waiting for you, Claude. Yeah, Claude, geez. Make us 6 minutes late. Without further blather from yours truly, let me show you this beautiful crew of humans. Hi, friends. Oop, there we go. Looking good. So today, I gotta say, this today really pushed the boundaries of my understanding of both space and time and Mutants and Masterminds. So we are going to be mapping dimensional travel in the context of a challenge that people who are traveling when utilizing this aspect of this tool, a GM can employ the challenge test, and they either do or do not make it to the next dimension. Is that right?
That was very cogent, Troy.
Oh, wow.
Well done.
It was on brand.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, good. Well, I am stoked. That will be my one cogent moment for the day. Exciting. Good stuff. And Claude says, that they haven't finished watching the Patreon stream, but loving it so far.
All right. Well, no giving away the ending.
Yeah. No spoilers.
Is it spoilers to say that the heroes probably win?
Maybe.
Maybe they do.
Steve might have killed all of us.
Yeah, I guess with Alex there,
Right?
good chance the heroes were all murdered.
Not a foregone conclusion,
Truly.
The Murder League was there. Their whole thing is murder.
right? It's right there in their name.
I do also, the name of the adventure was That's No Raven.
I don't think that's true.
No,
It's not. I'm lying.
it's not.
That's what I do for a living. All right, well, let's dig in.
Cool. Well, this is an oft requested topic for us to go into, and the end of our multiverse May seemed like a great opportunity for us to talk about the idea of making dimensional travel and I suppose time travel and other forms of travel more, a bit more involved, and to give it a little bit of structure and mechanical heft to it.
I like it. So like a travel by dirigible.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, that notoriously reliable means of travel.
Right. Either you make it or you don't, you know?
Isn't that just a metaphor for life?
Yeah, it is actually. It is. Welcome to Existential Mondays.
Okay. Trying to find. I realized as we were setting up, it would be really helpful to be able to illustrate some of the ideas we're having. So I'm in Photoshop right now, looking for what should be very simple brushes to explain some concepts that are otherwise kind of weird and complicated.
Right.
Well, I do like a dimensional dirigible.
Yes, like the dimensional dirigible.
Well, I do want to. Hey, Aura's here. We're doing really well today. It's a good day. It's a good Monday. But I've discovered something in the dimension of Sean's. I have been saying the other Sean's name wrong this whole time. It's
Which
Sean
one?
Dugan. Dugan.
Oh,
Not Duggan. It's Dugan. So my apologies to the Sean's and the Sean Collective for the offense. I have corrected my ways.
Smart. The Seans are powerful.
They are
Yes.
all powerful. All powerful. So Gene says can only arrive and leave at specific points. Yeah, that's kind of what we're talking about, right? Yeah.
that's kind of part of what we're talking about. I mean, the default of dimension travel in the core rules is pretty straightforward. It's just you can go to this many dimensions, and it's just you take your move action and you do it, or whatever. If you apply modifiers, whatever action your thing requires. But we can also take a look at building an Omniverse setting that has a different structure to the way its dimensions are laid out, so that it becomes a thing of, do you have to move through different layers of dimensions? Do you have to pass through one dimension to get to another dimension? Is it take longer to get to dimensions that are further away than others? There are a lot of possibilities there.
So yeah. We were talking a little bit about this before the show, and talking about like what you need to start mapping your weird multiverse. And I mean, the big thing going forward is, who is the map for? Is it for you as the GM to keep track of things? Is it for your players who are going to start proactively traveling to other dimensions and exploring or gathering allies, whatever you like to call it? And that'll make a big difference, because you as the GM can just kind of hand wave and decide, well, you can't get to that dimension from here.
Right.
But if your players are handed a map and are like, well, this is the multiverse, then they can start figuring out the routes they want to take and what dangers there might be between here and there.
Yep, that is true.
Yeah. And the other big issue is figuring out how are your multiverses connected. So is it an issue where, well, here, I actually started. I've got everything together.
Oh, good.
So is it, let me share my screen real quick if I can remember how to do that.
I am really curious about what kind of sea monsters live in the space between the multiverses. Like, here be monsters on the map somewhere. What are they and what do they do?
So, yeah, basically, like, do you have something like a cosmos where all of your dimensions overlap like this in different strings, where, let's say your players start in this dimension conveniently placed in the center of things. So does that mean they can just travel to these two dimensions they overlap with? So to get to, say, this dimension, they've got to jump across multiple worlds until they finally get here?
Right.
And find
do they have to
between them?
make their way down the string to where they overlap in order to jump across.
Hmm.
You know, or is
And-
that just easier and less dangerous?
Yeah.
Oh.
Is there some more advanced technology they can pick up later on that'll let them kind of cross through this dimensional interspace, whatever you want to call it? Your astral, your weird, your ether.
Yeah.
Interesting. So there's a couple things here, Claude. 2 times, and you didn't get me yet. I almost laughed twice, and so you're really working the funny bone, as it were. Bodhi says you can also decide what binds or glues your multiverse together, negative, positive dimensions, etc. Yeah. Okay. I can see how that would influence some of the.
Oops.
This is really today's show's a thinker.
Yeah.
It's a real thinker.
There's like the way what Dungeons and Dragons does it is
The Great Wheel.
what is going on with my there we go. Yeah, the way Dungeons and Dragons does it is more like eek. Sorry, new keyboard, lots of new
options.
lots of new
keyboard, new
options.
disc.
You can have like here's your core world, and then outside of it is an outer plane.
Yep.
And outside of that are even bigger planes. And then surrounding that are smaller planes all rigged together that kind of balance out the cosmos,
Mm-hmm.
where you've got like opposing concepts at different ends, kind of keeping
Right.
everything balanced and moving.
Hmm.
Where this innermost level would be, Earth and the universe and the solar system, all of that. And this outer level is something that binds that to the rest of the cosmos, like the astral plane, or your magical dimension, your psychic dimension, or elemental plane, or something like that. And then
ghost
out
dimension.
here is, your high concept, high concept weird space
Mm-hmm.
that encapsulates everything else and probably has multiple realities in it. And then out here are like, fundamental opposing forces. It might be like fire and water, or it might be heaven and hell, or, whereas, if you're going to magical, this is a good build for something like a magical campaign where you're traveling to magical dimensions and you've got to figure out what connects those and why and how.
Right.
And then your multiple realities are kind of all nestled up inside one of these middle tier eggs, which is kind of. That's not the right one. Here we go. All of your multiple realities are just kind of crammed in here together.
Right.
Gotcha.
And I don't think we have a proper name for these different dimensional structures. We should put together a book that explains some of these ideas.
We could.
Yeah, some kind of multiversal manual or something.
I was going to call it the Crossworld Codex, but
Hey,
great
works
minds
too.
think alike.
Right.
both
Go with the
solid.
alliteration. That's the key.
Yeah. The key to any good superhero product is alliteration.
It's true.
Now, Claude mentions if the dimensions have a sort of orbit, then certain Earths can be closer to each other at different times. Oh, okay.
Yep.
That is more math
Sure.
for you as the GM, though.
Yeah.
Or it's an excuse for you as the GM to say, oh, no, things aren't in alignment for you to cross over to Cake World yet. You're going to have to
Right.
go through Spider World to get there.
Mm.
You don't want to go to Spider World this time of year, though. It's a silly
Yeah,
time.
no.
Jonesy
It's
says-
just a name. Everybody gets so worried, but Spider World doesn't actually have many more spiders than our world.
They're just bigger.
Well,
With
Yeah,
Just
they're just
giant.
significantly larger and they have day jobs.
And they can talk. Yeah.
Yeah, there's the funnel web spider and the funnel cake spider in this dimension.
Mm.
Yeah, that's where the dimensions overlap.
Mm-hmm.
Yummy.
Funnels.
Mhm.
Okay, so yes, I like that. Sean Vieira says the Crossroad Codex, the multiverse soul manual.
Mhm.
Sure. Everyone gets, yeah.
Right. Everyone's happy.
Everyone's happy. So there are at least 10 spider dimensions in the room with you at any given time. Yeah, and over your life, you've swallowed at least 20 spider dimensions.
What
You
do
don't
you
even know
What do
it.
you think the spider's extra eyes are for? They can
Hmm.
see in at least 8 dimensions.
True. Good point.
Oh, yeah. I never thought about it that way, Steve, and I'm sorry I have to now. Thanks.
Yeah, I didn't sign up for this.
Yeah, I will remind you, Alex, you can file complaints about Steve.
Mhm.
Nicole
You
will
can-
just throw them away, but
You can file
Right.
them. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can try.
It's weird. All my complaints wind up in my permanent record.
yeah.
Yeah.
You learn quickly. Let's see. Lining the dimensions to travel. That's a good idea. You have to align the
Yep,
gates in order to travel,
absolutely.
or wait for or ley lines. Yeah.
The whole notion that the dimensions rotate or align is a great plot
Mhm.
device to either provide a timing for the villainous scheme to come into play, or to provide a reason why it is the heroes can't just go off to wherever it is they want at any given time.
Plus, it's
Like
really
it.
conducive for really cool clockwork imagery of the universe all moving
Mhm.
together as big astro waves.
Gamers
Ooh.
love an orrery.
Yep,
They do.
everybody loves a good orrery.
Yeah, everyone loves an orrery.
I put a
Yeah.
really good one in the Nerean Nexus in our Netherworld game.
Yeah, your other option is to kind of build your dimensions as almost like a world map where you've got continents. You'll have to
Mhm.
excuse the crudeness of the model. I didn't have time to build it to scale.
But then you get the whole sort of sailor on the seas of infinity scenario where it's like traveling a vast cosmic ocean between worlds.
Yeah, and then you, as the GM, can basically decide, like, oh, well, this continent is actually like Earth as we know it, and like the Fey realm, and oh, blast, what's something else?
The
that people
shadow
know?
realm.
The Shadow Realm, and then over here you get to like a weird alternate reality, alternate Earth that's like a shadow evil version of ours, and you can start deciding, what is accessible immediately and what requires more powerful technology or magic effects or
And there's definitely also the distinction between magically traveling between dimensions and technologically traveling between dimensions.
Well, that was what I was going to ask. So how much thought or work should be done in the how one does this thing?
I mean, it's really a matter of how useful it's going to be for you or how much fun it's going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're the kind of person like me who just will sit and kind of casually doodle maps when she's supposed to be hosting a podcast,
For example.
then do as much work as you want to really get your enjoyment out of it. But if it's a lot of work and you don't enjoy it, if it's not something you think will be useful for your table, then don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's like any mapping, it's exactly as much or as little work as you want to do.
Gene, I like that idea that there is an accord, an agreement, a connection between the alternate Earths that are like, nope, we're not going to mess with this, or we'll only allow travel between, the dimensional existences.
Sure.
For good reason or something.
And then that leads to the question, how are they preventing people from traveling and who's enforcing that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what happens when the heroes inevitably break that rule without knowing it?
As heroes are wont to do.
As they are wont to do.
As they habitually are known to do. The other question is, what exists in that space between dimensions when
that could
is
be your astral sea or
cosmic void or
your
limbo.
murder maze.
Right.
Murder maze.
Murder maze.
Yes,
Yeah,
murder
like
maze, as the case may be.
Yeah, D&D loves the idea of transitive planes, which are planes that sort of touch every other plane. So
Mhm.
this could basically be, whatever your society thinks you project your mind into when you have an out-of-body experience, or what substance ghosts live in once they die and become incorporeal.
Yep. I had a transitive plane in one superhero campaign that was called the White Space. It was basically literally the margins outside of the panels of reality.
That's very
Love
Doom
that.
Patrol.
I like that.
Yeah.
And then what you do is you put like one tiny little dimension at the crossroads of a bunch of your bigger dimensions, and they're the jerks enforcing dimensional travel rules.
Right.
Yep. And if you blow it up, you blow up all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Omniversal tariffs.
Yeah. Omniversal import export is just a nightmare.
Yeah, eventually somebody catches up with your PCs after a bunch of dimension hops, and then like, do you know how much fruit you have carried between dimensions?
Right.
Because each dimension counts fruit as something different.
Right. That's right. Right.
I want to create a game where it's the players are the customs officers of the multiverse.
That could actually be a really fun game where you keep having to track down like superheroes and villains from other realities who are just
Right.
having their big, like, it's the end of the world. Look, I don't care, man. It's more paperwork for me.
Right. Exactly. Right. This is like the 5th crisis I've had to handle like this week.
Yeah, this is the infinite crisis on this earth,
Right.
all right?
I like it.
Look, man, I get off at 5. I gotta go home. Okay, just fill out the paperwork and let me out. I don't care about the end of the
Right.
world. It's the end of your world.
Yeah. Oh, end of the world. Pretty presumptive, our buddy.
Yeah, right. I love this stuff. I swear I got it at the Cosmic Duty Free Shop.
But yeah, once you start figuring out how your cosmos is divided up, you can start figuring out things like, oh, does this weird spatial ocean thing have currents? Like, is
Right.
there a
Does
is
it have
there
a
an-
surface?
yeah? Can you
Does it
actually
have-
sail a magic ship on it?
Does it have cruise ships? That's what I was about to ask.
Right.
And
Oh.
rich multiversal people taking safaris to see different
Yeah.
universes.
Oh, wow. I could see that. Absolutely.
So yeah, is it a thing where like if you travel this route and just this route, it's pretty easy to get around? Or is it, and if you try to get out of that loop, then it takes like special technology or advanced magic or something like that?
Right.
Or is it just that you can fall into this weird gyre accidentally and end up stranded, on one of these cosmic islands?
Yeah. And having
Like
a map
every
like
time
this,
something goes wrong.
yeah, having a map like this, you can predict where somebody's going to land if they fall overboard or whatever.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
or
interesting.
if they fail a dimensional travel check, whatever you decide
Right.
that's going to
Where
be.
do the currents carry you?
Yeah. So if you get knocked out of your or if you're jumping ship from this spatial reality thing and you fail, like there, you're either going to end up in whatever this world is or whatever this world is.
Hmm.
So if it's let's say it's a challenge sequence to navigate from your starting point here at 1 up to this dimension, Cake Land, at
Mhm.
2. And it's a challenge sequence that takes 3 successes. Well, if you fail the first one, you get knocked off here. If you fail the second one, you get knocked off here and wind up in Spider World. And if you fail the third one, then you end up here in, let's call it Ballet Minotaur World.
Elegant.
Right.
Let's see. We got
Surprisingly
some-
so.
let's see here.
It's a smaller dimension.
Such great comments.
It's a very
almost
particular dimension too.
It is very, very
Don't kink shame
particular.
me.
Jonesy says crisis of infinite paperwork. I love that. Bodhi suggests a sock dimension where all elves have come to like
Mhm.
that's how they travel to your dimension, steal your socks and bring them back. Let's see.
Yeah,
It
I think
opens
we've
in every
accidentally-
dryer on Earth.
I
Right.
think we've accidentally hit on something here where when we finally do the Crossworld Codex, we're going to have to include a dimensional regulatory agency of very put-upon bureaucrats.
Indeed. That have been dealing with this nonsense since the dawn of time.
Just exhausted, right? Yeah, just put upon. Yeah, I love it.
End of the
Look,
world.
buddy, I'm one
Right.
day from retirement. All right, I need to get this paperwork done and get out of here.
I'm 1 eon from retirement.
Right. Yeah. So, end of the world, is that immediate? Are we looking at how much time left? Is it
Long
coronal?
checklist that says reason for dimensional breach is cosmic crisis.
Right.
Evil clone. Got it.
Right.
One villain, small dick energy. Okay.
For some reason, I've got this notion in my head at this idea of like some of these dimensions are kind of decaying, and you've got a crew of interdimensional sort of they're putting up cones or kind of like keeping people out of this space because getting too close and you're a mess. Let's see.
You can get into fun things like what's underwater in this dimensional limbo. What is that? Is that what the Omega is? Is that the end of all things? And basically, Omega is trying to drown
Sink
all of the
everything?
cosmos. Is it like interdimensional Atlantis? And Atlanteans are always jerks.
Is it the Upside Down and it's just everything on the surface, but worse?
Oh yeah, maybe that's where your anti-Earth is.
Right on the other
Ooh,
side.
I like it. So we've got, of course, we are inspiring the chat. They've got some really great thoughts here. Is there an interdimensional terminal where everyone can just hang out in that liminal space? Okay, sort of like some vending machines and
There was I think it was a Villains and Vigilantes adventure that basically was set in a essentially sort of the cosmic airport that exists in between all dimensions, and that's just how humans perceive it. Of course, is it just looks like the world's biggest airport.
I'm remembering the first episode of Loki where he gets stuck in the Time Variance Authority and they're using like Infinity Stones as paperweights.
Right. Oh, they only work in their own universes. We get a ton of those all the time.
I love it. Let's see here. Swashbuckling heroes who rescue the universes that collapse because of Omega.
Oh
yeah.
That could be actually a really cool campaign where you're just sailing around the interdimensional waters and rescuing refugees that have been, whose countries have been sunk.
Right.
Oh, I like it. Let's see. Raymond says quantum leap, but the individual is leaping into beings in other dimensions to fix problems that would destabilize that dimension and eventually leap to. Yeah,
that gets you into a really weird sort of meta campaign framework where the player characters are the same people, but their stats change every adventure depending on who they're wearing in that particular story.
Oh, very interesting.
Jump into a new version of yourself that has a new origin every time.
That'd be a ton of fun for experienced M&M players, I think.
It's a little, everything everywhere all at once, superhero style.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking for John's comment, but he mentioned that in a prior campaign that there was a dimension where it was just dinosaurs and exiled baddies, like exiled, super enemies. So that could see like a dimensional sort of prison for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh man, that'd be great for the one villain who can control dinosaurs.
Right.
And that's why you got to go. They didn't even think about that, right? Let's see. Free to a good reality, one flying brick, no heat vision, great disposition. Oh, Claude, you crack me up.
That does make me wonder how they would hire for this organization. Like, do they just go find people who are inconsequential to their dimension and pick them up, Legends of Tomorrow style, or
maybe it's people who survive having their dimensions destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
That's certainly a motivator.
Very interesting. A dimension eater like Galactus as a villain. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, there was a whole Steve Orlando comic, Commanders in Crisis. There was a team of heroes who were all sole survivors of their own dimensions, basically. And they were basically trying to save the last Earth that they were all aware of.
That's cool.
Hey, the Games Tavern says, "Hey yo,
Hi,
wanna-
Games Tavern.
I want to go to
Right.
there."
I hope the terminal is a games tavern
I mean,
instead of an airport.
Right?
Troy,
Yeah.
you know there's
Yeah.
a bunch of, like, let's play bars and cafes around the area, right?
Oh, sure.
Right.
I go to each one of them,
Yeah.
but I'm at home right now, and I have no tavern or games. And I have
That's
some
fair.
games actually. Yeah.
Well, you got the
Um,
whole, in at the end of the world.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I love it. All right. So now, did we decide, or are we're not necessarily picking, right? I mean, this can be, but it's not like you have to go, oh no, it's only this one way. I mean, everyone
No,
can
it's
kind
Mutants
of
and Masterminds. You can have it any way you want.
see.
True.
That's lovely. I love that about this and about this idea because it is just, it seems almost a shame to try to, pin down a very specific thing when there's just so much, some infinite, freedom and ideas to kind of do some stuff.
Yeah.
I love that. Let me see here. So I'm curious for chat. When you look at the various options, what are your favorite? Like, I mean, for me personally, I'm really in love with that kind of the continents of as dimensional spaces because it's easy for my simple brain to map out. But I also like the idea of that sort of almost like a slinky that's been pulled, and you've got those
Mhm.
circles that kind of overlap.
Yeah.
For the chat, talk to me, share some of your thoughts on how you like to, or now that you're kind of in the headspace for it, what does your dimensions look like? And then for the three of you, what when
Well-
you're in this space, what do you do?
While the chat is giving that some thought, I think it's
Yeah.
a potential sort of teaser for Thursday and the like to mention that whole notion of sailing across the seas to different worlds is pretty much our concept for the setting for Fantasy Age.
Oh, that is
Nice.
true. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah.
So,
And
so if you
yeah.
like that concept,
Yeah.
you're doing more with that.
The default setting for Fantasy Age is islands in the middle of the cosmos, basically, where you sail to different worlds.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Clutch says, I like the slinky way too, with little layers and pockets for dimensions that aren't alternate Earths. So lots of weird circles that overlap with tiny bubbles all over. Yeah, I can see that.
That feels reasonable to me because we do have the Doom Coil, which implies that there's a not Doom Coil.
That's the
Maybe the
cosmic
two
coil.
slinkies are trying not to touch each other.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, we talk a little bit about that in Books of Magic, actually,
Mhm.
about the whole sort of cosmic coil notion of spiraling worlds in the Earth Prime Omniverse.
I like that. Yeah. Clutch says that all the bubbles can be used as sort of shortcuts to get, and each one of those bubbles being some kind of a dimensional space. Gene mentions each dimension is a continent and alternate Earths in a country within it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Sure.
I dig that. So for the three of you, when you're thinking of your dimensional space, how have you approached it to date? Oh, look at there's a dimensional space for you. Oh,
It's a Dr. Corgi action shot.
She is very tired for no good
Oh, yeah.
reason, really, except she's been farting all day.
oh, that's exhausting. Yeah,
Mhm.
a lot of work. Farted up a room. Just saying.
I mean, it's a small
Mhm.
room, but whew.
Troy, is that your favorite disembodied activity?
Well, I do kind of just hang out as flatulence. That's just kind of my thing. So yeah.
Drifting
Okay,
out.
hear me out. Every dimension is a hair on a dog.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And then what are the fleas?
Oh, that's the question.
The heroes.
It's probably more true than it isn't. But yeah, so when the three of you do you have a default sort of imagining of the from your own just personal preference? what are your dimensions like?
I like the idea where dimensions are like marbles in a bowl, and each marble is its own dimension, but it touches several other dimensions around it. And sometimes that can shift and slide, but you have to go to specific points of overlap to get to those adjoining dimensions.
Oh, I like that a lot. Dog Omniverse headcanon instantly accepted.
I think my notion is similar to Crystal's. I think the orrery I built is a bunch of glass globes that each have long copper pipes that connect them, and you can ride the pipes essentially to get to the different dimensions. Or you can cast a really dangerous magic spell to jump from orb to orb.
But if you screw that up, you're left kind of drifting out in the cosmos.
Right.
Yeah. The bad things that live between spaces come to get you.
Ooh, I
How
like
bad could
that.
they be?
I mean, honestly.
Right. They don't even exist, technically speaking.
Not in my dimension.
Yeah, they're from outside space and time. How bad could they be if they're not here yet?
Right. And would I know? Would I even be able to conceive?
Yeah, I was going to say, joke's on you. I can't even conceive of these things.
Right.
You scared me for 2 seconds and I'm dead. It's not that bad.
Right. Steve, how about you?
I like a lot of similar dimensional structures, like bundles of cables. The idea of there's a bunch of timelines, and they're all sort of braided together. But it depends on what point you're on the timeline, as far as where it intersects with other ones, how close they are to other parts of the bundle, what the insulation is between them. Those kinds of things are fun models to play around with.
I'm reading, one of the things I love about tabletop role play creators and players is, when it comes time for, we don't run away from deep concepts. Not
I mean,
at
this
all.
week especially.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably a good time to mention on the Patreon this week, we're going to be releasing the 3 multiversal May dimensions that Steve, Alex, and I have written.
Yeah, we probably don't want to share it outside the
on those, but it's a diverse range of concepts that I think folks will groove on.
They will, yes. Have you,
I think
in the case of Alex's Earth 4-4, quite literally.
Yeah. I hope everybody brings a tuning pipe to their next game session.
Right? Yeah. So
I'll
let's
just take the penalty.
Right. Let's see. I'm reading some of this stuff. Oh yeah, Stan. I see that too. Stan talking about time being a big glass of soda and all the dimensions merely bubbles floating in it. It sort of suggests a finite sort of. It only lasts for a short period of time, and it's refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, eventually, the universe will go flat, and then we'll all be dead.
Right. But it'll take like several billion years. So.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a question from Sean Dugan. And it is tuning in late. That's okay. You made it just in time. My apologies if this has already been covered. What's your opinion on combining time, dimension travel, and teleport to really go specific places?
I mean, if it fits the campaign, awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's potentially problematic, just in the, depends on how specific you're talking. And it gets into the, do the players essentially have access to go anywhere and get anything? That can potentially be an issue, and that's why I tend to favor the more specific your dimension, time, space travel gets, the more involved the process usually should be. Whether it's either setting it all up in advance so you hit your target exactly, or whether the journey itself gets longer and more involved so you get exactly where you're going. But if it's, hey, in a move action, I can reach out into the cosmos and grab anything from any alternate reality anywhere, you may be setting yourself up for a problem as a GM.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You know?
that's probably a pretty high level variable power.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, and I think
But
it
if you're
depends
like-
on how integral being able to travel dimensions in time is to your campaign arc. If the story is all about going to a different dimension every week, then you probably want somebody who's able to do that, or a vehicle that's able to do that with understanding, putting bumpers on there somewhere as a GM.
Yeah.
Yeah, as GM, it's kind of like with the time travel campaign. Is it the kind of campaign where you want the players to kind of just get thrust into a new situation every week, a la Quantum Leap, and they have to kind of survive and figure out how to get out? Or is it going to be more like a Back to the Future, the animated series scenario, where they have access to the machine that gets them everywhere they want to go, and they just, kind of go off on their own prerogative to do whatever, and usually get into trouble along the way?
Right.
Can we talk about how you said Back to the Future, the animated series, like that was common knowledge?
Everybody watched the Back to the Future animated series.
Is it not?
What?
And if they haven't, they should.
This was in your interview questions, Alex.
Cries in 1991.
Yeah, there's some high level nerdery going on here. We're playing for real. So
It starred Christopher Lloyd.
Right?
I love Christopher Lloyd.
I'm just saying, there's some people in chat that are
Marty McFly almost undoes baseball.
Aura just stunned, really, truly, absolutely stunned. And
Thank you, Aura. We're in the same boat.
and Stan says, "Duh," and Aura says, "My graduation present was a model DeLorean." Nice. I like that. I've, there was also a DeLorean always driving around the neighborhood. It less impressive, really, when it's not traveling through time.
Yeah, when it's not traveling through time and leaving trails of flames behind it on the street.
Right.
Impressive.
This is so great. Sean Vieira says, "What? How could you have missed the Back to the Future animated series?" Wow.
It was 1991 to 1993, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, I
am unable to post in the chat here, but I could link you to it on Amazon.
Nice. Abook says, "The Back to the Future animated show was great. Perhaps you needed to be of a certain vintage to remember
It was produced within Alex's lifetime. He has no excuse for not watching it.
It's true.
Right.
I was 0 when it came out. I could have seen it.
Yes.
That's right.
You were 2 when it was
You still
canceled.
had eyes.
You were firmly ensconced in this dimension. So
I got my first pair of glasses when it was canceled.
So-
Yeah, I learned how to walk by bumping into walls and listening to my parents laugh at me. So that's
Oh, thanks, parents. That's fun. It's a good way to learn.
Kind of like how I learned to swim, except it involved, me drowning and my parents laughing at me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, good news. You didn't drown.
Right.
I mean, legally speaking, I did, but I'm fine
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Right. You bounced back.
You bounced back,
Rock
exactly.
it off.
I like this.
Be
Or
amazed what you can live through.
that's so true, honestly. Yeah. Aura says, "I was -7."
All right. Well, then Google and Amazon will be your friend in this regard.
That's right. That's right.
It's amazing, and it has Christopher Lloyd.
Mhm.
What
I've
more do
got
you need?
I've got the
Or
time
we'll binge
cop-
it together. We'll watch it
Yeah.
together sometime.
Marty
I've got
McFly hangs out with Doc Brown's 2 younger kids, and they get into misadventures.
Yes.
I've got the time cops in the background, so you may hear some sirens. They're coming to have a word with everybody in chat.
May
let's-
have heard.
They have, and they're very disappointed.
Yes.
Let's
Claude, I see you in the chat, and I appreciate you.
I do too, Claude. Yeah, I mean, you are the worst. Just seriously, my goal was to not laugh.
Yep.
But Claude is
Beatty
really.
just asked a question in the chat that I actually know the answer to.
Yeah,
and
I know.
never felt like a
Oh.
bigger nerd.
Me too.
And what did he name his kids again?
All right.
Jules.
Jules and Vern.
Vern.
Wow. Wow.
There you go. There you go.
I mean, come on.
I mean, entry level time travel
Was
trivia.
his wife's favorite author.
Mhm.
There
His
you
favorite
are.
author too.
I love it. I love it. All right.
That's
So
how
we
they fell in love.
Yes.
is that how? See, look at you. You just know
Their
all of this
mutual
stuff.
nerdery.
You think this is good? You should see me go off on Ninja Turtles lore.
Oh man, yeah. That's
I love it. I forever
Friend-
associate you with Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, a friend of mine once made the mistake of asking what the deal was with Krang, and I ended up talking at her for 45 minutes.
Crystal burst through a wall and it was like, well.
Yeah, I wasn't even in the same building at the time.
My ninja senses are tingling.
Right, exactly. Oh, that's good. That's good. We should make up a sort of revised theme song for Crystal. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme song. Do we have anybody in the audience that does anything musical? We've never been afflicted by, and usually by in other communities, I have seen that occur. So if you play something, or you try, or even if you don't, and you can rhyme, put something together. We'll play it. We'll play it live. Ninja Turtles, Ninja Nerdles. Okay.
Ninja Nerdles, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Ninja Nerdles.
And yes,
let's-
I do know about the Back to the Future musical. It's up there with the Last Starfighter musical as one of my favorite 80s pop icon musical extravaganzas.
My mind is blown.
Yeah.
What?
Raymond asks, did you also watch the Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure animated series?
Of
Yes.
course.
Was it an animated series about time travel?
It was.
Right.
I mean,
The prep for this program has been just decades in the making.
Maybe I'm
Um,
not qualified to write the time travel trilogy. I'm sorry, guys.
You've got
there's some
some
more
watching
research to do, Alex.
Yeah. Okay, you can stream Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures, the animated series, on, I want to say Prime,
Mm.
Okay. Yeah.
but we're going to have to buy you a copy of Back to the Future,
Yeah.
the complete animated series on DVD.
Series.
Send
But
me your
that's
How much
address.
is it?
That's a justifiable research expense.
Yeah. Send
Stan
me your
asks-
address. I'll take care of it.
Yeah, it's a
Stan
tax
asks-
write-off. It's still working.
Stan asks, are you a big Peabody and Sherman fan?
Oh, the Wayback
The
Machine,
I like
Yeah.
Peabody and Sherman.
right?
I like
Which
them
so Stan, the answer is yes to whatever permutation of Peabody and Sherman you are
Right.
thinking of. All your bases are covered.
both. Yeah.
But
That and
Time
Claude,
Travel Adventures of a Dog and His Boy. I mean,
Mhm.
I like it. Now Claude needs to find someone musical because he's offered to help someone write the Bowman musical. I see it happening. I see it happening. Yeah.
There
Yeah.
needs to be a really tormented cover of Shot Through the Heart.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Laura, in conclusion, we're all
Where he's-
huge nerds.
Yeah. Where he's
Yes.
singing about how his dad broke his heart because he couldn't get a handle on his alcoholism.
Well, there we go.
yeah.
Fun. All right, so we have, I can't believe that it's 2:51 already, and I'm just now thinking of lyrics for the Bowman musical.
I've been toying around with the Freedom League music number for my Earth 4-4 release.
What about the theme song for their
Yeah.
animated series?
Freedom Friends. Come on.
We'll add it. I'll add the list of things I'm working on.
I love it. So great conversation, very thought-provoking, very concerning in some cases, mostly from chat, and also there is there's a lot to be unpacked here, but it's one of the things that I love, and Steve, you just kind of summed it up, which is the notion of you get to do it your way. Like you get to, build it and make it. And if it feels right and it's fun, then there you go. And it's not too much work or it's just enough work, that kind of a thing. Claude says we need an episode that's casting the Freedom League for a live action movie. Absolutely.
That'd
Yes.
be fun.
That would
Just-
be fun.
was trying to remember the name of this series, but there's an even more obscure time travel Saturday morning series
Oh,
that I loved as a kid. AJs Time Travelers.
why do I remember that?
It was this bizarre live-action educational series about history.
That pokes something in the back of my lizard brain, but I don't know.
Me too. I'm not sure if it's just because we have an AJ reel that hangs out, or if maybe AJ, are you
Were you a time traveler? Are you
Right.
yet to be
Are
a
you
time traveler?
presently? Does that really even mean anything?
Yeah, right? What time is it where you are? Yeah. I got to think about that. So
When
here's
will then be now?
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Calvin says, I was just rewriting the lyrics to My Shot from Hamilton. That's
Oh.
I am
great.
the BOWMAN.
That's so good. I mean, Hamilton is it's uniquely suitable to this idea. So yeah, run with that, folks. If we if we like it, then we'll play it and perform it in a off Broadway production.
Stan is right. It's a predestination paradox. This is the episode that inspires AJ to become a time traveler.
Whoa. You've blown my mind. And we've blown through almost the whole entire show. So here's what we'll do. So Alex, what are you cooking up for your folks? Are you playing tonight?
We are playing tonight. We are going to be heading back to Starhaven, hopefully heading out into the snowy wastes of Europa, looking for a big preserver tomb. It'll be a lot of fun. And on Friday, I'll be doing a special live stream where I'll just be talking about character creation while I struggle to make all my pre-gens for Origins in a couple of weeks.
Ooh, I love that. Not the struggle, but the fun of putting characters together. We'll share some links and stuff to that when the time comes. And
I just want to say I'm probably the only GM at Origins who's going to have Penny Plunderer as a pre-gen player character option.
Penny Plunderer, the pre-gen
Purloiner,
thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's actually going to be Penny Plunderer 2, the original Penny Plunderer's daughter, named Penny Coin, here to avenge her father's untimely demise.
Perfect.
Why do I know that name?
Taken out of circulation.
Let's see. There's a couple good questions here. One involves a Fonzie time travel cartoon. We'll get back to that. Logicore asks.
That's a very broad definition of a good question, Troy.
That is right. It is. Yeah. We cast a wide net here on Mutants and Masterminds Monday. Logicore asks, can a character all out plus power attack?
Oh,
Yep.
These are. I mean, it's mostly up to GM interpretation. Rules as written, yes.
Yeah, theoretically.
There you go. But your mileage may vary, so check in with your GM. Yeah.
I let it happen at my table, but then I punch them really hard in the face right afterwards.
Yeah, it specifically wiggles around the power level limits, so...
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, Steve, what do you have cooking? You got some things in the works?
So good stuff coming up on the Patreon. Folks can check out my Earth N New Century City stuff when it drops, as well as some fun omniversal variants. We've got talking about different rules options in the works coming up as well for folks who would like to dig into some crunchy rules-based stuff. So definitely check that out. Keep an eye out for it on the Patreon.
Right on. And Crystal Frazier. Oh, wait, Steve, that's your personal Patreon, right?
No, that's Eminem.
Oh, that's us? Okay.
I got more stuff coming up for icons as well, but I still have to. I'm way behind, actually. I have to finish that up.
You heard nothing.
Yeah, and I'll be putting out Earth Iniquity for Multiversal May, which is a world built around the concept of what if only minorities developed superpowers, and how do things like world governments react?
Ooh,
it's super fun.
I like it.
Not for most of the people there, but for you, the reader.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love
it's
it.
a cool place to have a campaign. I wouldn't want to live there.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Might be a cool place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there.
I love it. And Zeth comes in with the answer. The Fawns and the Happy Days Gang, 1980 to 81, a short-lived, rest in peace.
That's where the Fawns had a dog, and they met a time traveler from the future named Cookie.
All right. I should not. I should not be surprised, amazed, but and yet I remain.
80s cartoons make me tired.
Oh, we haven't even gotten into Pac-Man the animated series.
Oh,
Alex.
no.
Oh no!
Buckle
Yeah.
up, Buttercup.
Right. Absolutely.
Hubert
Yeah.
was legitimately a good show, though.
Yeah, right?
Inexplicably, video game characters set in like a rockabilly's 1950s.
Yes.
But like it's surrealist.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds surrealist.
You know, Alex, I think that we've mentioned about 13 different titles for you. You're going to literally have 3 hours worth of cartoons you have to watch, so you better buckle up.
Yeah. Fortunately for you, they're all only like 12 minutes long each.
Yeah.
So
That's absolutely
take all the
right.
commercials.
You know,
That's
there
right,
was
yeah.
a Donkey Kong animated series back before Super Mario Brothers ever came out that
Oh,
has
yeah?
Mario as the villain.
Mhm.
Well, some might argue. Let's see.
Maybe we should do a Back to the Future animated series watch as a Patreon thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yes, that has
yeah.
potential.
Hear me out.
It-
I can probably dig up some old episodes of Street Frogs.
All right, we gotta.
And we'll stat things up while the show's on. We'll be like, this is
Uh-huh.
how we would do this in
Well,
M&M.
Statting things up while I watch cartoons is just the way my brain works anyway. So.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
it's an instinct at this point.
I honestly feel like we really have something that we could like pull, like we should pull something like that together, and sort of have some fun. You know, watch some episodes of bad 70s, 80s cartoons, and have some fun. Crystal's Saturday morning trivia picks. Oh yeah, I read that wrong. Crystal Saturday morning trivia picks up just where mine starts to fade. I was so excited. I was like, "That's what we'll call it, Crystal Saturday morning trivia picks."
All right. Jason
Listen,
Sunday,
friends.
if you loved Silverhawks, you'll be mildly pleased by Tiger Sharks.
There you go. That's Crystal is the cartoon.
I think that was in fact
master.
their advertising tagline.
Is my nose bleeding?
Oh, the marketing those days was really sort of hit or miss, really.
Yeah, you know.
Sean asks also, I believe it was Sean, and Tiger Sharks was awesome. Let's see. I believe it was in the remaining seconds that we have left. It was the question is, will we have? Do you have other Danger Zones coming out?
No online releases, but the print book is, I believe, still in proofreading, but we'll be going off to printer hopefully this week or next.
Yeah.
And so
Gotcha.
and that's when we'll start talking about previews and opening up pre-orders, make the PDF available.
Look at that. Fantastic. I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank our three lovely developers hanging out and sharing the little nostalgia, a little deep thought. I like that the nostalgia sort of cleanses the palate for the rest of the dimensional day. And thank everybody in chat. What a joy. Super good fun time. And remember, we've got all kinds of good stuff coming out on the Patreon. So you want to head over to patreon.com/mutants, AND Masterminds. This Thursday, we're planning something special, and we'll keep you posted on that. But that's Thursdays at 2 p.m. Pacific here in these same places. For now, thank you all for hanging out with us. Share the word. Do me a favor, like what you're watching, and share it, and leave a comment that says, "Hey, how you doing?" And enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you all very much. Goodbye.
Thanks, everybody.
Tune in next week and we'll stat up the tattooed teenage alien fighters from Beverly Hills.
Hey, nice, nice. You have that to look forward to, friends. Bye now.